final area. Away the Nixie team away. Away the Nixie team away. Set general quarters. Set general quarters. General quarters, all hands, lane battle station. General quarters, all hands, lane battle station.
So just how much of a fop doodle is he? Anyway, that damn sackhead's Clint. Okay, well, I have a new intro, and I'm gonna go to the intro tonight. I'm gonna try it out on you for the first time ever. I wrote this. Or sackhead's Clint. He's gonna miss out. Now, if he were here right now, what I would customarily be telling you is for the new intro that I designed just for this show, because you know each show has to have an intro, right? There has to be, you have to be able to discern this show from any other show. Well, our thing is there's two people here. And that's what sets this show apart from any other, is the fact that there are two, count them, two co-hosts in the studio talking to you about all the news of the day. And that's why you come here to Sackheads Against Tyranny, because you're here expecting two hosts to weigh in with great veracity, the requisite training, education, and experience to display for you, indicating that you're getting twice the bulbosity for the same amount of money that you pay. So for the, let's see, I think Sackheads Against Tyranny now is charging about, what, I think we're down to about $1,200 a year. And so all I can say is, clearly, this is money well spent, where, again, you're getting a wonderful 2-for-1 rate courtesy of the SHR Media Network. Now let's go to the intro that I devised, and I'm going to go into chat, and I'm going to ask you what you happen to think, because if this is a bad intro, I want you guys to tell me. And I'm looking in chat, and there's Simone is in chat, Mike's in chat, Mary's in chat. Welcome to everybody. And if he were here right now, this is what Clint would have heard. Clinton BZ, tear through the gristle of today's screaming headlines and rip out the sinewy tendons of truth ensconced within, all from the hoary streets of Sacramento Fornicalia, exposing the trembling toadies, the sniveling jackanapes, and fripperous fop-doodles infesting leftist ant farms nationally. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. So what do you think? I think that works as an intro. Sackheads Clint will never know. Because he's not here right now. He sent a text indicating, and I have proof, because as you guys would probably realize, I keep everything. So here is Clint. And that's him saying, I'm going to be here. I'm wrapping up. I'll be there about 20:30 to 20:45. So that means 8:30 out here on the left coast and 11:30 on the right coast, where many of our listeners are right now, to include Mary Brockman. You know what? I don't know, Mary Brockman. I have to tell you, I don't know what part of the United Snakes of America you live in these days. Or ever did, as a matter of fact. Mike, I'm pretty sure Mike in chat. I think Mike is, God, put the thinking cap on BZ, put it, Louisiana. I think Mike is Louisiana. Simone, I think, is in California. So I'm not exactly sure. Okay, well, you guys like it. Okay. Mary says, well, that's a good thing you don't need Clint. And Mike says he likes the intro, and Mary says she likes the intro. And Mary says Least Coast. Okay, the East Coast. All right, got it. So, yeah, that's why it affects you so much, Mary Brockman. Mary Brockman is because, shoot, this sucker goes to 1 a.m. Okay, understood. Well, anyway, might be a half hour, might be 45 minutes or so before Clint gets here. Again, it's rhinoplasty oriented. I didn't want to reveal too much of that. And I'm going to be putting my face in front of everyone, like this, as little as possible, because you don't want to see my face. I've still got conjunctivitis, and it's not pleasant to look at, so we'll just look at a split screen of me and an empty chair and Sackheads Against Tyranny for a while. But I will start with this. I've been on Facebook a much shorter time than I have on Twitter or any other social media. Okay, that's all I have, basically. Twitter and Facebook. That's my social media. Bing. Yeah, I did get it right, Mike. Louisiana. Bang! Oh, wait a minute. Why do that one? Hold it correctly, and it will make a noise. There we go. And so I was correct. Thank you, Louisiana. But having just two pieces of social media that I'm on, and by the way, just to let you know, as if you didn't guess, does anyone think that I'm going to give Facebook my real name, knowing all that I know about Facebook? And does anybody think that half the crap that's in there on Facebook from me is accurate? And the answer would be, wait for it, no. That's not my real name. But that's how you get the initials. So I had to come up with something. BZ, Bloviating Zeppelin, BZ. What am I going to be? Oh, I could be Biff Zeppa. So that's me on Facebook. And the rest of the crap that's in there is specious and all made up. Because that's, Mark Zucky, if you're going to fucky over me, then I'm not going to give you all my information anyway. And I was smart enough to not do that. And plus, Bloviating Zeppelin on Twitter at BZep. That's my other thing, at BZep. Of course, that's not my real name. It's close to my real name, damn it. But it's not exactly my real name. My point is this. Damn it, BZ, get to your damn point. While cruising around Facebook, and somebody sent me air quotes, somebody sent me an article over Facebook. So I've connected. I've got maybe, 5 friends. One of them is this particular person. And they sent me an article that, after having read it, sums up a great deal about how I got to be where I am today, and I'll wager politically how you got to be where you are today, or you wouldn't be listening to this show. You'd be listening to MSNBC, and this is probably a great time to... What's the lesbian chick with the short hair that's on MSNBC? I never watch MSNBC... So, anyway, most people, leftists, are going to be watching her right now instead of taking time and watching this show and or listening. And, of course, I got sent this, and I thought it was a damn good article. The mayor of Livermore, California, explains Trump's popularity and success. This is perhaps the best explanation for Trump's popularity. This person happens to write it pretty well. This really isn't much of anything that I haven't said before, but ensconced within this one article, they do a really interesting and good job of summing up why people went for Trump, why people are still with Trump, and almost no matter what, they're going to be with Trump until he either fades away or he decides he's not going to run in 2020, etc. This is by a guy named Marshall Kamina. He's a registered Democrat and was elected mayor of Livermore, California. Now, this is an interesting part. I really enjoyed this. He ran on the Democrat ticket because he knew that a Bay Area city, and Livermore is kind of close to the Bay Area, which means Bay Area in California means San Francisco Bay Area. And it's, it's leftist central, along with, 2 miles that way is the locus of evil, as you well know, in Sacramento, fornicalia. So this guy ran as a mayor. He ran on the Democrat ticket because he knew that nobody in the Bay Area would ever vote for a Republican. But it turns out he's as conservative as they come. So he wrote the following. Trump's lack of decorum, and an air quote, lack of decorum, dignity, and statesmanship, that's the title of his article by Marshall Kamina, mayor of Livermore, California. My leftist friends, as well as many ardent #NeverTrumpers, constantly ask me if I'm not bothered by Donald Trump's lack of decorum. They ask if I don't think his tweets are beneath the dignity of the office. Here's my answer. We right-thinking people we've tried dignity. There could not have been a man with more quiet dignity than George W. Bush as he suffered the outrageous lies and politically motivated hatreds that undermined his presidency. We tried statesmanship. Could there be another human being on this earth who so desperately prized collegiality as John McCain? Okay, probably best not to open the John McCain door with BZ. And he's writing the article, not me, so I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? I'm going to continue reading this guy's article. I'll leave my John McCain comments for later. Could there have been another human being on this earth who prized desperately collegiality as John McCain? He never met a Democrat he didn't like. That's okay, I had to throw a little bit of editorial in there. It's me. What would you expect? We tried propriety. Has there ever been a nicer human being ever than Mitt Romney? Now, I will interject this right now. Remember Mitt Romney? Remember Harry Reid, the former senator of Nevada, who lied about Mitt Romney's taxes? And that was responsible for one of the major downfalls of Mitt Romney, other than the fact that I didn't like him and I certainly wasn't going to vote for him. And he later told his sons, by the way, that, in consideration, in retrospect, I really wasn't that interested in running. You fucknut, then why did you take my time and everybody else's time if you were interested in being president? But okay, that's another aside from BZ. Has there ever been a nicer human being than Mitt Romney? And the results were always the same. This is because while we were playing by the rules of dignity, collegiality, and propriety, the left has been, for the past 60 years, engaged in a knife fight where the only rules are those of Saul Alinsky and the Chicago mob. I don't find anything dignified, collegial, or proper about Barack Obama's lying about what went down on the streets of Ferguson in order to ramp up racial hatreds, because racial hatreds serve the Democrat Party. I don't see anything dignified in lying about the deaths of 4 Americans in Benghazi and imprisoning an innocent filmmaker to cover your tracks. I don't see anything statesmanlike in weaponizing the IRS under Lois Lerner to be used to destroy your political opponents and any dissent. Yes, Obama was articulate and polished, but in no way was he the least bit dignified, collegial, or proper. The left has been engaged in a war against America since the rise of the children of the 60s. To them, it's been an all-out war where nothing is held sacred and nothing is seen as beyond the pale. It's been a war they've fought with violence, the threat of violence, demagoguery, and lies from day one. The violent takeover of the universities until today. Stop. I found this today, and when Clint gets here, if he takes a little bit longer than I suspect, screw it. I'm just going to play it for you. There's a commentator on Fox. She used to be on the OAN, One American News Network, I believe, named Tomi Lahren. And in public, she was treated to an absolute rounding excoriation and a glass of water in the face just because of her political views. She can't now appear in public, apparently, without some leftist assaulting her. That's the current style of leftists in America. So this author, Mayor Kamina, he's on the right track. He's saying and writing the exact same thing, the truth. The problem is that through these years, the left has been the only side fighting this war. While the left has been taking a knife to anybody who stands in their way, The right has continued to act with dignity, collegiality, and propriety. With Donald Trump, this has all come to an end. Donald Trump is America's first wartime president in the culture war. I kind of like that. Wartime president. During wartime, things like dignity and collegiality simply aren't the most essential qualities one looks for in their warriors. Ulysses S. Grant was a drunk whose behavior in peacetime might well have seen him drummed out of the Army for conduct unbecoming. Had Abraham Lincoln applied the peacetime rules of propriety and booted Grant, the Democrats might well still be holding their slaves today. Lincoln rightly recognized that I cannot spare this man. He fights. And that's a quote. General George Patton. I love me some George Smith Patton. General George Patton was a vulgar-talking son of a bitch. In peacetime, this might have seen him stripped of rank, but had Franklin Roosevelt applied the normal rules of decorum, then Hitler and the socialists would barely be 5 decades into their 1,000-year Reich. This is, again, a BZ aside. Isn't it odd when generals say things that really should be heeded and are discarded, and it causes this nation incredible amounts of heartache and, quite frankly, death? If you remember, historically speaking, at the conclusion of the war, General Patton said, "We ought not to stop here. We should march and drive the treads of our tanks right into Russia and conquer that nation while we have everything that we need right here in Germany." And he was correct. Look at what Russia has turned out to be under communist Russia. Look what it is today. I submit, however, today that Russia is not, in fact, the number one enemy of the United States. The real enemy of the United States is China. China is an economic powerhouse much more so than Russia. Russia is like kitty litter as far as China is concerned. They do damage and they rattle sabers, etc. China is the thing that we need to be aware of, despite what the leftists, Democrats, and American media maggots are saying. And then do you remember there was another general, damn, now I can't think of his name. He was in the first Iraq War, Schwarzkopf, who said, by the way, we ought to just continue marching. Why stop here? And it turns out that he was right, because we had all the elements, all the vehicles, all the equipment, all the backing present and accounted for. Let's get back to the article. Okay, Trump is fighting. And what's particularly delicious is that, like Patton standing over the battlefield as his tanks obliterated Rommel's, he's shouting, and this was a wonderful scene from the movie Patton, "Rommel, you magnificent bastard, I read your book." That's just the icing on the cake. But it's wonderful to see that not only is Trump fighting, he's defeating the left using their own tactics. That book is Saul Alinsky's Rule for Radicals. By the way, if you haven't read Rules for Radicals, I don't know if it's on the internet, but it's worth a purchase, if for no other reason than all of the things. I had an Alinskyite on 2 years ago on this show when we were at Freedom Fest, and he was one of the main administrators in the Alinsky Foundation, the Saul Alinsky Foundation. And I had him on my show at Freedom Fest because I wanted to hear what he had to say with regard to Saul Alinsky. What's it going to kill me? What's it going to hurt me to listen to what a guy on the left is going to say? And here's what a guy on the left said. What this author, Mayor Kamina, is also referring to. He said, it's a book. It can be read and absorbed by anybody. And its precepts can be used by anybody. They don't have to be claimed by the left. They can be used by anybody. That's what this author is saying right now. The book is Saul Alinsky's Rules on Radicals, a book so essential to the liberals' war against America that it is and was the playbook for the entire Obama administration and the subject of Hillary Clinton's senior thesis. That is true. It's a book of such pure evil that just as the rest of us would dedicate our book to those we most love or those to whom we are most indebted. And this is true, too, because I have a copy. Alinsky dedicated his book, Rules for Radicals, to Lucifer. Trump's tweets may seem rash and unconsidered, but in reality, he's doing exactly what Alinsky suggested his followers do. First, instead of going after the fake media, and they are so fake that they have literally gotten every single significant story of the past 60 years, not just wrong, but diametrically opposed to the truth, from the Tet offensive to Benghazi to what really happened on the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, Trump isolated CNN. He made it personal. Then, just as Alinsky suggests, he employs ridicule, which Alinsky described as the most powerful weapon of all. Most importantly, Trump's tweets have put CNN in an untenable and unwinnable position. They need to respond. Stop. There was a story that I was going to read on my show, the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, on every Tuesday and Thursday night right here on the SHR Media Network. Plug. That CNN ratings have gone down 33% just in the past month. Who's been on CNN 147 times since, what's that guy's name? The creepy porn lawyer, Avenatti. He's been on and on and on and on, and apparently he's been driving watchers away in droves. And so it is. He's made it personal. Donald Trump has made it personal. And they find that they have to respond. This leaves them with only two choices. They can either go high, okay, as Hillary would disingenuously declare of herself and the fake news would disingenuously report as the truth, and begin to honestly and accurately report the news, or they can double down on their usual tactics and hope to defeat Trump with twice their usual hysteria and demagoguery. The problem for CNN, et al., and with the former, is that if they were to start honestly reporting the news, that'd be the end of the Democrat Party they serve. It's nothing but the incessant use of fake news, read propaganda, that keeps the left alive. Imagine, for example, if CNN had honestly and accurately reported that then-candidate Barack Obama's close ties to foreign terrorists, Rashid Khalidi, domestic terrorists William Ayers and Bernardine Dorn, he sat in their living room and absorbed information from them because they both come from the same bent, leftists. The mafia, Barack Obama was associated with the mafia, Tony Rezko, or the true evils of his spiritual mentor, the pastor Jeremiah Wright, he of goddamn America. And that was his quote. Imagine if they had honestly and accurately conveyed the evils of the Obama administration's weaponizing of the IRS to be used against their political opponents, or of his running of guns to the Mexican cartels. And by the way, the subsequent death of USBP agent Brian Terry, which unfortunately the author fails to mention, or the truth about the murder, which is correct, of Ambassador Christopher Stevens, the three other soldiers who were there, the two other soldiers, I should say, and the one advisor, and the subsequent Obama administration's cover-up. So what he says is, my friends on the left and the never-Trumpers as well, do I wish that we lived in a time where our president could be collegial and dignified and proper? Of course I do. These aren't those times. This is a war, and it's a war the left has been fighting without opposition for the past 50 years. So say anything you want about this president. I get it. He can be vulgar. He can be crude. He can be undignified at times. I don't care. I can't spare this man. He fights for America. And oddly enough, this came out at a time when I was writing a blog post, which will be coming out either later this week or perhaps this weekend, essentially summing up why it is that on my blog at the top it says, I am pushback. And I got to thinking about that. I am pushback. Why? Why am I pushback? I'm pushback because I'm done with leftists. I don't have that much life left in me here. I could come smack dab face to face with my factory issued heart attack when I go home tonight. So I'm not giving up. If anybody thinks I'm surrendering any of the bills under any of the amendments under the Bill of Rights, you'd be absolutely wrong. If anybody thinks I'm going to be surrendering any of my weapons or ammunition under the Second Amendment, they would be wrong. If anybody thinks that I'm going to surrender my ability to sit here in front of you tonight, or those who may be listening in podcast, and give up my freedom of speech, my First Amendment rights, no, that's not going to occur. And if that means that bad things happen as a result of my deciding that I'm going to take a stand and defend myself, if necessary, to uphold my Bill of Rights under my U.S. Constitution, old age and treachery. Just remember that particular phrase, old age and treachery. Now, apparently, we're going to move on because Clint is still here, and I got about, 2 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. And I think I have enough time to play this. This is from CBS, Minnesota. And the title of the headline, and it comes with an audio cut. The title of the headline is Water Profanities Thrown at Fox News Contributor Tomi Lahren in Minneapolis. And let's see if this cut will play. Of course it won't, because you have to turn on the audio on that video. Details. Okay, let's go back and see if I can get it to play now.
Minneapolis bar. Even President Donald Trump weighed in. As Kate Raddatz shows us, it is a story going viral on Facebook and Twitter.
Videos taken by brunch goers at a Minneapolis restaurant shows Fox News contributor Tomi Lahren having a glass of water thrown at her. Tomi then confronts the woman while others at the restaurant yell profanities at her.
You don't have to like me, you don't have to agree with my political opinions, but you don't have the right to throw things at me.
Lahren addressed the incident on Fox and Friends Wednesday. She had been in Minneapolis for a show at the Pantages Theater a day earlier. The 25-year-old is known for conservative and often controversial opinions, once calling Black Lives Matter the new KKK.
That's funny. Black Lives Matter is, in fact, the new KKK. Every individual, you can play this against me from now till time immemorial. Every individual in Black Lives Matter, no matter what color you are, you're a racist. Period. End of statement. Let's continue.
It's really disheartening, but again, I'm tough, I can handle it.
When she walked out and after the drink was thrown, everybody started screaming.
Devin Madison was sitting at the table next to the woman who threw the drink at Lahren. He says it happened during brunch at Union Restaurant.
You say these type of things, not even just about blacks in general. I mean, this is about gays, lesbians, and go all across the board here. What do you expect?
The incident even caught the attention of President Donald Trump.
So as far as he's concerned, did you hear what he said? If philosophically he or anyone else like him, meaning leftists, if they disagree with you philosophically, the gloves are fucking off, and you deserve everything you get if you are not in lockstep with their groupthink. So that's the way that goes. Okay, enough of that. We're going to come back. And Sackheads Clint may or may not be here, but that's okay because I have more things coming up. I found an incredible article by an Emmy-winning journalist, an actual journalist. There are a few left, not many, by the name of Cheryl Atkinson, and she wrote a story called 8 Signs Pointing to a Counterintelligence Operation Deployed Against Trump's Campaign. And I'm sure if you've been listening to the news recently, you know exactly what that happens to be. Let's take a break. We're going to be right back. Cross your fingers for Sackheads Clint. Cross your eyes. I'm not going to cross my eyes. They may not come back ever.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
S-H-A-T.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. shrmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads Against Tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. Wait a minute. We're not anywhere. We're not back. I'm back. And you are listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny. I'm going to amend the show for tonight. It's the Sackhead Against Tyranny. Myself, the bloviating Zeppelin, and on to my, my left, your right, is nobody, an empty chair. This just came through, and there's an audio cut to this. I was looking around, and I look at the news all the time, and I get updates on the Mark 1 Model 1 smartphone here. And an update just came through from the Drudge Report, and I haven't perused it, but I found the headline very interesting. Now, there's an audio cut that comes with this. Here's the headline that got me interested. Voter to Pelosi, isn't it time for most of these politicians to return to the private sector? And I thought, oh, that's a delicious, really enticing headline. Let's see what's becoming of it. Well, apparently there's an audio cut that I have not played yet. I usually try to play all of my audio cuts before. And let's see where this is going, because I'm noting that this apparently is a CNN audio cut. There's a Maryland resident who's named Mary Ann Lennon, and she is speaking at a Nancy Pelosi town hall. So now that you know all the facts, the same ones that I do, let's see what becomes of Maryland's Pat Lennon and Nancy Pelosi. I sense a tete-a-tete coming. Let's see.
So that people feel that they're there.
I have something for you along these lines. You gave us a good segue there, Madam Leader. I want to bring in
Okay, this is Jake Tapper, by the way.
Mary Pat Lennon.
Hi,
retired, lives in Maryland. Mary Pat, what is your question?
I think this is going to be good.
Beautiful scarf you have on tonight.
Beautiful scarf you don't have, Jake Tapper.
Ethiopia. Leader Pelosi, quorum.us tells us that more than half of the senators running for re-election this year are over 65 years old. If they win their term of service...
I wish I could play the video. I haven't seen this, but I'm watching this. Mary Lennon is on the left. Nancy Pelosi is on the right. It's a split screen. And once she mentions age, Nancy Pelosi, of course, her skin has been recently rejuvenated. But you can see that once age is mentioned, that grin sort of plastically placed on her face, that grin. Oh my gosh, it seems to be disappearing.
It will be 6 years. Their constituents are about 20 years younger.
Okay, this is great. Have you ever seen the Nancy Pelosi? This is a visual, and this is, okay, I'm just for this once, I'm going to put the camera on me because it's a visual if you happen to be watching on YouTube or on the SHR Facebook page. Have you ever seen Nancy Pelosi do the Nancy Pelosi, the lip pursing thing? She just did it, and she does that when she's fucking pissed. And she just did it with this chick, and she's continuing to do it, and it looks like this. It's, maybe if I didn't have my beard, you'd be able to see it a lot easier, but it's the lip pursing, and this is grand. Oh, God, I wish you could see this.
Isn't it time for some members to return to private service and to encourage younger folks to run for office?
That smile is so fake. It's like an eastern diamondback rattlesnake looking at you with its viperous eyes.
So they have
and she gets applause. Mary gets applause from the audience on CNN at a Nancy Pelosi town hall. I love this. Nancy Pelosi's not having any of that. The smile is fading still.
Should I take that personally?
You're not in the Senate, so you're good.
Let me say this, two things. First of all,
blow me, Mary.
I said earlier about money in politics. If you reduce the role of money in politics and increase the level of civility in politics, you will elect more women, more young people, more people of color.
Isn't it funny how she can take a very simple question and immediately turn it, as all Democrats do, on its head 180 so that it's all about identity politics, because that's all they damn fucking well have.
To elect them all.
But she's been doing this so long, she can do this in her sleep. Thank God she needs to, because she's still not very good at speaking, because I'm sure she's on early onset Alzheimer's.
Thing is more wholesome than that. The fact is that Congress has a seniority system, so people in different regions want to make sure that the people who represent them are in a senior position to help express their views.
Justifying her being where she is, because it's our age and in our experience. That's what you want. These young people can go to hell.
The concerns of their region. But I'll take it personally and say that as a woman who came to Congress later because I...
See again how she makes it into identity politics. It's not about you as a politician, because this lady, Mary, you can see that she's at least in her 70s, minimum, I would guess. She didn't aim that question at her because of a woman. She aimed it at the people in those age ranges that are in the system.
I raised my 5 children before I decided that to accept the opportunity to run for Congress. So lots of times women are a bit older because they have been raising their children. Now I'm happy because lots...
Oh, now we have the convenient excuse of, I had to raise my children, so that's naturally why I'm going to be a little bit older. That's funny. We just had a congresswoman who recently gave birth. Are you saying you can do both things at the same time that Nancy Pelosi is saying, as a woman, you can't?
Of young people, young women are running with young children, and we're trying to make it as family-friendly as possible. But I don't...
That doesn't have anything to do with her question, Nancy.
For me, I don't think age has that much to do with it.
Of course you wouldn't. You couldn't string a cogent sentence together for 5 minutes or so. I've got the audio cuts to prove it.
I think it's about, and especially as a woman...
Especially as a woman.
I want women to know that whether they're going from college to Congress, well, they can't really do that, but...
That wasn't Mary's question, Nancy. That wasn't Mary's question. And you've done a splendid job of being a politician, but that's still not answering Mary's question.
25 years old to Congress, or in my case, from the kitchen to Congress after my kids were grown, that whatever you're bringing, it's new and fresh and different because you're a woman. And that is...
Because you're a woman. Other politicians are, as far as she's concerned, Mary didn't ask about all the other politicians. Mary only asked about women.
With all the respect in the world for our male colleagues, but the important thing is to have the mix at the table. At the table. So I...
At the table. At the table.
I think that, again, reduce the whole, as I said to you earlier, the whole environment is changing. These young people are registering kids 17 years old who are not even quite old enough to vote, but will be by the time of the election. The women marched, and now they're running. And now they're running. And so there's a whole... People say to me, how are you going to use all that talent? I said, no, how are they going to use us? How...
Now, customarily, in maybe another radio show, would have stopped that because she's continuing to blather. But I want you specifically to hear how Nancy Pelosi herself responds to this, how she makes it and continues to make it all about identity politics and mixes in all the usual Democrat rhetoric and to continue to just blather.
How are we going to incorporate their fresh enthusiasm? I've never seen mobilization like it. And everybody has...
Even Jake Tapper is starting to cry. He's looking at his watch thinking, Jesus, do I have to clean the fucking parakeet cage tonight?
To justify their existence to their constituents, and that's the Democratic way. But again, some members come to Congress old.
Okay, now it cuts to him again. You can see the puzzled look on his face where he's thinking and realizing, my God, I think I do have to clean the parakeet cage tonight.
And they're newer. Some people have been there 20 years, and they're younger, but they just got a younger start. So anyway,
What? What are you saying?
Anyway, that is all to say, we want to take the talent, the experience, the values where they are, and we want to have the mix in all of it. But if you have a problem with somebody who's older, run for office. Run for office. I say that to them. Run for office.
All right, we'll give you...
Okay, basically what that was is slap in the face to the woman who asked, Mary Lennon, if you don't like it, comma, bitch, comma, you run for office. Well, I don't think that that's what she was interested in. She was interested in an honest answer to the question, as in, you're too long in the tooth. We don't care for your policies. Let's get somebody fresh in there. Translated means we need some new policies. The Democrats are dying, and you're part of the reason that it's dying. Get out, comma, fossil. That's how I translated that.
Give you time to...
And so much for that. In any event, okay, let's go to the article by Cheryl Atkinson. She's been spied upon herself, as a matter of fact, if you remember about Cheryl Atkinson. Let me go up here. And, oh, Mike's back in chat. Good to see you back again. The article is entitled 8 Signs Pointing to a Counterintelligence Operation Deployed Against Trump's Campaign. And there is, first you have to realize there's a massive difference between simply an investigation into, say, a criminal act and an investigation or a counterintelligence investigation. And she breaks it down quite logically into 8 points that were so wonderful, I just had to go over this article tonight. It may be true that President Trump illegally conspired with Russia, and he was so good at covering it up that he's managed to outwit our best intel and media minds who've searched for irrefutable evidence for 2 years. That first paragraph grabbed me right there. We still await Special Counsel Robert Mueller's findings. Mueller? But there's a growing appearance of alleged wrongdoing equally as insidious, if not more so, because it implies widespread misuse of America's intelligence and law enforcement apparatus. Here are 8 signs pointing to a counterintelligence operation deployed against Trump for political reasons. And that's the crux of the biscuit of this whole thing. The forces arrayed against Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, are absolutely unprecedented. Said it for a long time, will continue to say it, and Cheryl Atkinson's article right here lays out an excellent foundation for just that. The first one is code name. The operation reportedly had at least one code name that was leaked to the New York Times, Crossfire Hurricane. By the way, that's from a Rolling Stones song. I was born in a crossfire hurricane. And it's from, let's see, that would be Jumpin' Jack Flash. Ooh, BZ still has it. The second point, wiretap fever. Secret surveillance was conducted on no fewer than 7 Trump associates. Chief strategist Stephen Bannon, lawyer Michael Cohen, National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, advisor and son-in-law Jared Kushner, campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and campaign foreign policy advisors Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. The FBI reportedly applied for a secret warrant in June 2016 to monitor Manafort, Page, Papadopoulos, and Flynn. That's the FISA warrant. That's the dossier warrant. That's what they took to a FISA court. By the way, as I should care to point out numerous times, the FBI took their first iteration of that warrant to the FISA court, and they were denied, which is almost heretical. Almost heretical. You know, ham sandwich and grand jury as far as the FISA court is concerned. The FBI came back a second time using the dossier to buttress their first attempt, and they were granted a FISA warrant. That was their ham sandwich. Cheryl Atkinson continues, if true, it means the FBI targeted Flynn 6 months before his much-debated conversation with Russia's ambassador Sergei Kislyak. Stop. Timing is everything. She writes, if true, it means the FBI targeted Flynn 6 months before his much-debated conversation with Russia's ambassador, Sergei Kislyak. That was the thing that, according to leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots, that kicked off the investigation because of the collusion effect between Kislyak and Flynn. The FBI applied 4 times to wiretap Page after he became a Trump campaign advisor starting in July 2016. Page's office is connected to Trump Tower, and he reports having spent many hours in Trump Tower. CNN reported that Manafort was wiretapped before and after the election, including during a period when Manafort was known to talk to President Trump. Manafort reportedly has a residence in Trump Tower. Electronic surveillance was used to listen in on 3 Trump transition officials in Trump Tower. Remember Trump back in late 2016, early 2017, I think it was early 20, no, it might have been 2016, when he said, I've been wiretapped in Trump Tower. And everybody said, oh, bullshit. Yes, shit. He was wiretapped, and he was surveilled in Trump Tower. It turns out the more he says things, the more it turns out he's correct. CNN reported that Manafort was wiretapped before and after the election, including a period of time when Manafort was known to talk to President Trump. Manafort reportedly has a residence in Trump Tower. Electronic surveillance was used to listen in on 3 Trump transition officials in Trump Tower: Flynn, Bannon, and Kushner, Steve Bannon. And they, as they met in an official capacity with the United Arab Emirates, the UAE Crown Prince. The FBI also reportedly wiretapped Flynn's phone conversations with Kislyak on December 31st, 2016, as part of routine surveillance of Kislyak. Hold that thought. NBC recently reported that Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, was wiretapped. NBC later corrected the story, saying Cohen was the subject of a pen register used to monitor phone numbers and possibly internet communications. The third point, national security letters. Another controversial tool reportedly used by the FBI to obtain phone records and other documents in the investigation were national security letters, which bypass judicial approval. Improper use of such letters has been an ongoing theme at the FBI. Reviews by the Department of Justice's Inspector General found widespread misuse under Mueller, who was then FBI director, and said officials failed to report instances of abuses as required. Translated, the FBI was breaking its own laws. The next point, unmasking. This is what I was leading to. Unmasking. Identifying protected names of Americans captured by government surveillance was frequently deployed by at least 4 top Obama officials who have subsequently spoken out against President Trump. James Clapper, former DNI or Director of National Intelligence. Samantha Power, former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Susan Rice, former National Security Advisor. Sally Yates, former Deputy Attorney General. Names of Americans caught communicating with monitored foreign targets must be masked or hidden within government agencies so the names cannot be misused or shared, which meant that, of course, they were misused and shared. However, it's been revealed that Power made near daily unmasking requests in 2016. I have to ask, of course, why? What's the point? Why? Why did Samantha Power have the ability as a former UN ambassador, I believe? Why did she need the power to unmask people? What was the purpose of that? I can only think of one: to help destroy Donald Trump. Prior to that revelation, Clapper claimed ignorance when asked if he knew of unmasking requests by any ambassador, including Power. He testified, I don't know, maybe it's ringing a vague bell, but I could not answer with any confidence. Rice admitted to asking for unmasked names of U.S. citizens in intelligence reports after initially claiming no knowledge of any such thing. Clapper also admitted to requesting the unmasking of Mr. Trump, his associates, or any members of Congress. Clapper and Yates admitted they had also personally reviewed unmasked documents and shared unmasked material with other officials. Okay, another bullet point. Changing the rules, moving the goalposts, so to speak, on December 15, 2016. The same day the government listened in on Trump officials at Trump Tower. Rice reportedly unmasked the names of Bannon, Kushner, and Flynn, and Clapper made a new rule allowing the National Security Agency to widely disseminate surveillance material within the government without the normal privacy protections. Another bullet point, media strategy. Former CIA Director John Brennan and Clapper, 2 of the most integral intel officials in this ongoing controversy, have joined national news organizations where they have regular opportunities, like CNN, to shape the news narrative, including on the very issues under investigation. Clapper reportedly secretly leaked salacious political opposition research against Trump to CNN in fall 2017 and later was hired as a CNN political analyst. In February, Brennan was hired as a paid analyst for MSNBC. And let's see, 2 more bullet points. Leaks. There's been a steady and apparently orchestrated campaign of leaks, some true, some false, but nearly all of them damaging to President Trump's interests. A few of the notable leaks include word that Flynn was wiretapped, the anti-Trump Steele dossier of political opposition research, then FBI Director James Comey briefing Trump on it, private Comey conversations with Trump, Comey's memos recording those conversations and criticizing Trump, and subpoena of Trump's personal bank records, which proved false, and Flynn planning to testify against Trump, which also proved to be false. And the final bullet point, friends, informants, and snoops. We got about 2 more minutes to go, I believe, till the top of the hour break. Friends, informants, and snoops. The FBI reportedly used one-time CIA operative Stefan Halper in 2016 as an informant to spy on Trump officials. Another player is Comey friend Daniel Richmond, a Columbia University law professor, who leaked Comey's memos against Trump to the New York Times after Comey was fired. We later learned that Richmond actually worked for the FBI under a status called Special Government Employee. The FBI used former reporter Glenn Simpson, his political opposition research firm Fusion GPS, and ex-British spy Christopher Steele to compile allegations against Trump, largely from Russian sources, which were distributed to the press and used as part of a wiretap application. And so Cheryl Atkinson sums up, and rightly so. These 8 features of a counterintelligence operation are only the pieces we know. It can be assumed there's much we don't yet know. And it may help explain why there's so much material that the Department of Justice hasn't easily handed over to congressional investigators. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's why Cheryl Atkinson is one of the few actual journalistas left in the United States of America. And so with that, we have we got about another minute before the top of the hour break. And while I was out, Sackheads Clint came in. So good evening to you, sir.
I did?
Yes, you came in. Here you are. I see you. You are present. You are here. I see it.
I found my way out. You must have been listening to old Sackhead episodes and got that whole Socko in a cage idea and tried to put me in it. I was able to escape. I found my way here.
Okay, that's good.
Despite
Excellent.
Your best efforts to keep me away.
Don't say I didn't try.
No, you tried.
Listen, I should be given at least an E for attempt. Wait, no, I should be given an
A. That's Common Core
attempt.
English. That's Common Core English.
Right. Okay. I think I've got it down now. So
good evening, sir.
Well, good evening to you. You're here just in time for the break. So without further ado, folks, we are going to take a break. And you're listening to Sackheads, plural, Against Tyranny, right here on the SHR Media Network.
Did you open up a Sackhead
Against Tyranny? Media.
Of course I did.
Done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads radio show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplains.talkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Head Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny, and we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
S-H-A-T.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads Against Tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
We're live, and we're back. You're listening to Sackheads Against Tyranny. It's the start of the second hour right here at the SHR Media Network. We're glad to see you in chat. We're glad to see that you're listening live. We're glad to have you listen to us in podcast at a later time because it's too damn late for you otherwise. We know it's a really late night type show, and we appreciate all your listening and watching efforts that you display for us continuously. So, Sackheads Clint, how the hell are you, monsieur?
I'm fantastic. I'm barely awake, but I'm fantastic.
Barely awake?
So I find myself in a quandary.
Okay. Is that like a gravel pit, a quandary?
No, that's different. That's a query. By the way, I can prove that you're not here right now.
Yes, you told me that. You can say it again.
No, it's okay. So I don't know whether I'm going to watch NFL football or not this year.
Oh, that's a good point. If you want to go into that right now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, let's do it because there was a really interesting little agreement that came out today.
Yeah, it was
from the NFL,
and it was from the owners. Actually, voted on it, except for one. There was one that abstained. One. Of course, San Francisco.
Really? Who was that?
Jeb York from San Francisco. Of course, San Francisco. Of course.
Okay. All right.
And basically, there will be a penalty if players, if they are on the field for the national anthem, if they fail to stand for the anthem. And so that is interesting. The only vote, and he wasn't a no vote. I guess I'd have a little bit of respect for the little twerp if he had the testicular fortitude to actually vote no as opposed to just abstain from the vote. Non-committal. Anyways.
No, true, very true.
No, seriously. If you're Jeb York and he's sitting there talking about social justice and blah 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 bullshit. Yet he doesn't have the balls to either vote with the other owners or against it, and he's going to wonder why his season ticket holders are going to start walking out on him even more so, even though he's trying to put together a winning team. So, anyways, I don't know if it's too late for me or not.
I have an answer, but I want to hear yours.
I think it's too late for me. And I watched the reactions from the sports pundits and from the rest of the media, and they were pissed. They were so upset. Some of them were saying like, "Oh, you can't stifle a player's right to protest." Yes, you can. They're an employee. They're engaging in conduct while representing their employer. They are not they are not independent contractors.
No, I wish I had the cut. I had it up about I think I had it up yesterday. I was going to try to address it yesterday, and then I don't have it in my computer right now. But have you ever heard of the guy, the commentator? I don't know who he works for. Maybe it's Sports Illustrated. I'm not sure. But he's fairly famous, and as far as I'm concerned, really credible. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jason Whitlock?
I've heard the name.
Okay, and I mentioned this not to go to right off the bat identity politics, because I talked a little bit about that earlier. But I say that because he is a black sports commentator. And he said this about the NFL kneeling, the Kaepernick thing. He said, the NFL needs to realize that the NFL is a TV show. First and foremost, it's a TV show, and these people are employees. They're paid to do what they're paid to do. So he used the example of a nighttime talk show host who decided that instead of being a nighttime talk show host, they wanted to do something about ice skating for the next few weeks or so. Mm-hmm. That's not what they're paid to do. He's paid to be a late-night talk show host, and the NFL players are paid to be on television. They are employees. They're paid to perform a function, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And if they don't like the job, they should go somewhere else and do something else. That was the most clear-sighted, the most clear and honest insight that I've heard recently on all of this NFL stuff. They're employees.
Yes.
They have a job. And moreover, it's a fucking TV show.
That's
all it is.
It's modern day. It's a modern day arena, correct? It's a modern day coliseum. Gladiators come together. They battle for the entertainment of the fans.
Yep.
And they fucking go home.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, there's no tigers, although that would make the game very interesting.
Can you imagine?
I would probably start watching again if they did that. But you're exactly right. That's exactly what.
That's
they
why
are.
I loved what he said. It was like, just I hate to use this trite phrase. It was like a breath of fresh air to have someone weigh in with such an obvious and commonsensical expression. It's a TV show and they're employees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, but no one else wants to realize that. So I go back to your first question, and I said I know what my answer is. What's yours? Are you going to go with the NFL this year?
No, too little, too late. And especially since my team was the 49ers and York abstained.
So that is something that really torqued you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the only reason that they voted to require their players to stand now is because I think they see the writing on the wall. I don't think people are paying attention to the draft like they have in previous years. I don't think people are paying attention to all the workouts like they have in previous years.
I was just going to say, I couldn't tell you. Have the combines come and gone?
Yeah, this is right.
I honestly don't know.
And I don't either. And that's something I would have been able to tell you.
Yes.
2 years ago. And so I think they're seeing that, and they had an oh shit moment. And York knows if he voted no, that would have impacted him. So he tried to take the Weasley way out and abstain, not to piss his players off, but also not to piss his fans off, and not to get sued by Kaepernick, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's too little too late. The owners voted this for political reasons, which, I mean, I think they kind of had to do, so it speaks as to the power of the fans.
Yeah.
I hope the fans are not duped by this.
This will be, I believe, this is going to be the make or break year for the NFL, and here's why. Essentially predicated upon the exact same thing that you said.
Mm-hmm.
I myself have gotten out of the habit of watching the NFL.
Yes.
On Sundays, I wasn't a huge football guy, but it was nice. I would come and jump into various games that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, it was nice to know the football was there, and I'd watch some football games. These days, I've gotten completely out of the habit of doing that on Sunday. And instead, my wife and I go out and do something entirely different. And football really doesn't even factor in for me. So the reason that I say that this, I suggest, may be a make or break year for the NFL is how many other people like you and me have gotten out of the habit of watching the NFL? Will these people come back, or are they now to the point where it really doesn't matter? And here's what I also submit. I think everybody else can see through this as a sham. The NFL tried to cut the baby 3 ways and please everyone. There is no pleasing everyone. What they wanted is a clear common sense stance, as in, you go out to the field when the national anthem is played, you stand up. If you don't, here's your $10,000 fine. Bing! Next.
Yes. Yeah, and if you want to stay in the locker room, and if the team wants to allow that to happen, I disagree with the team for allowing that to happen.
Yes, I do.
But at least the player at that point is not wearing a uniform representing their employer in taking a stand by taking a knee for whatever perceived protest that they want. Hey, part of your job description is to be on the field at the beginning of the fucking game. And part of that process is the national anthem.
Yes. Okay, here's another example.
As an employee, I expect my organization shows respect for the flag and for the opportunities that it has given us. And you, as an employee, a representative of my organization, you will stand for the flag.
Which also tells me, number one, obviously, yes, but also tells me that it brings into question all of the NFL's business practices, because it's ignoring the fact that you, me, we are consumers.
Yes.
We are consumers of a product. We purchase NFL merchandise. We buy season tickets. We buy individual tickets. We go to NFL-associated events. We spend time. We drive to stadiums. We purchase things, food, drink, at all the stadiums in various cities and towns across the U.S. We say okay to the bond that gets the stadium built. All right, that's okay. We'll go along with a bond. We're the consumers of this. And yet, basically, what you're doing, NFL, is you're giving the flying fickle finger of fuck to the consumers who ingest your product. And you can't, that is not a winning business plan. That's not a sustainable business plan these days. That can't be. At the time when, particularly in these troubled, tumultuous days, people don't want politics. They want to escape from politics. These are tough times on people's souls. So why the hell would you want politics inserted into your escape? It's an escape.
Look, as soon as the NFL allowed this to go on for as long as they did, the first time Colin Kaepernick took a knee and the NFL and the San Francisco 49ers did nothing about it.
Oh, that set the stage.
That set the stage. And you now had football, instead of being a place, and I've talked about this before, instead of being a place where everybody from all different political backgrounds could come back and could sit down and could come together for a couple hours and watch a football game together and find common ground by having a common team to either root for or against or whatever it is. There was a common a commonality there,
a sense of unity
that transcended
you didn't get other places.
It transcended politics and the day-to-day bullshit. And now that's not the case anymore. And I don't think the NFL, I don't think the NFL is going to get that back in one season for sure.
No.
Maybe they can get it back. Maybe there are people like me that the problem is people have short memories, right? There's a segment of the population who are sheep.
Well,
who will forget and just go back along because they like football, right?
When was that big-ass baseball strike? There was a huge baseball strike.
It was like the
80s. 90s or 80s or something like that. And I can remember it took MLB probably
5 or 6 years to recover.
To get what they had for a prior audience returned to them.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, I have a friend of mine has season tickets to a couple different organizations, the Sacramento Kings, as well as the San Francisco 49ers. And no more. And
the Kings can go to hell.
So can the 49ers, and so can the NFL. And so I know that these organizations are losing supporters. They are losing season ticket holders. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. And how the NFL fares. I'm perfectly happy watching the Hawaii Warriors play football on Saturdays, or listening to them on the channel via the internet that I can listen to the games.
Hey, I might find I might go back. Those bowlers are incredible athletes, aren't they?
Yes,
phenomenal.
You know what? NASCAR and hockey.
Yeah, you know what? I used to be a big NASCAR fan, and then I moved over to F1 and for motorsports because F1 drivers are fucking driving gods. But yeah, NASCAR. Why not go back to NASCAR, who apparently manages to appreciate its fan base?
Yes.
Which is something the NFL at this point clearly does not. They were not willing to draw a line in the sand and say, you're an employee, we're the company, do what we say.
I have been impressed. So let me ask you this, because obviously we've seen the politics in the MLB. In the NFL. We've seen the politics in the NBA. We haven't really seen it in Major League Baseball. It started, one jackass player tried to start it kind of halfway through last season.
I can't remember his name.
Maxwell, catcher for the Oakland A's. He freaking dumbass. As a matter of fact, when the Oakland A's calls me for to renew my ticket packages or to do like a suite or whatever for the year, I tell them absolutely not until I hear ownership's position on that shit. I haven't heard back. But I haven't seen anybody for the Oakland Athletics or for Major League Baseball take a knee.
No, and you know what? It may be that the people who were big into the NFL, because the NFL starts up August, I believe.
Yep. Preseason in August.
The preseason in August, and then they start some of the regular stuff in September. Yep. But I think the boys of summer are going to see some benefits to all of this. And the people that formerly were NFL fans like you and me are going to find something else. Yep. We're going to go to NASCAR. We're going to go to hockey. We're going to go to, I don't know, basketball. I'm not a I'm not a big fan.
Not with the way the Kings in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of pituitary cases. But having said that, I will find another sport that intrigues me. Another thing I can tell you is what it won't be. It won't be soccer.
Is that just because the name football in every other land and it's too close to football?
No, it's a whole bunch of guys running around on a field that apparently is 50 times the size of an NFL field. And every half hour or 45 minutes or maybe up to an hour, they score a goal. Other than that, it's a bunch of guys running around on grass. And then, this is the part that I really like. This is the part.
You want to see a bunch of people running around on grass? Go take a look. Go look in downtown Sacramento. Everybody's smoking.
Oh, that's true. And this is the part that when they get injured, and the cameras zoom down on the player that's injured.
Yes.
They're in such exquisite melodramatic.
Yes.
I have never in my life seen melodrama.
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
if you want to see melodrama on the screen live in front of your face, some of them
Yes.
would be better. They'd be better suited to Academy Awards than watch a soccer game when one of these curly boys gets ambushed and they grasp their ankle and they fall down and their knees is twisty or something like that, and the angst and the emotion that comes out. That'd be the only reason I'd watch soccer.
And then 30 seconds later, they're up running around.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I have it. This is here for a reason. Exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah, they're trying to sell that penalty.
And sell it, they certainly try.
Yeah.
They certainly try to do that.
Yeah, it's like a telenovela.
Yeah, it's like a really shabby, like 70s Mexican soap opera.
Yes.
It's almost that good.
Almost. It is almost that good. Look, the other thing. Okay, I want to get your take on this.
Okay.
There is a little bit of news that's come out.
Right.
Right. Particularly the apparent message between Strzok or Strzok,
Peter Strzok.
Strzok, douchebag Page.
That guy.
Yeah.
Right. The lovers.
Yeah, and what's her biscuit?
Lisa Page.
Yeah, stroking off and Powder Puff. I don't know what the hell their names are, nor do I really give a shit.
Right.
That's quote, the White House is running this. Have you seen that?
No.
That report.
No.
So it came out. It came out today.
Which is huge, depending upon the year they're talking about.
Yes. So files showing text messages between that
guy, right?
Pete and Lisa.
Yeah, Pete. There you go. That's better.
Right. Between Pete and Lisa, one of the lines in the text strings says, "quote The White House is running this," and there's some back and forth. And
wow.
The problem is, and I want to be fair in my commentary. The problem is it's not exactly specific or clear, at least in the redacted portion, which investigation this is referring to.
Okay. From what you saw, was it really heavily redacted, or in the article you just couldn't tell?
In the article, it's the same thing that Congress is complaining about. These redactions seem to be very self-serving. They don't seem to be in places that it seems to be more like to avoid embarrassment than any real content. For example, one thing that was redacted was the price tag of a desk that was purchased as a favor, apparently, maybe for somebody. Those sorts of things. But the fact that they're talking about an investigation, and it seems to allude to the whole Russian thing, maybe starting there with the Obama White House. It seems to kind of allude to that, but to be fair, you can't really tell. And so Senator Grassley is kind of talking about how, hey, this is problematic. We need the entire unredacted document so we can get context, because that's a problem. And
it's all a
and
problem.
The other problem the former Obama administration has is you have the Inspector General's report about to come out. I was hoping we had it by tonight's show. The Inspector General's report on the how the DOJ handled the Clinton email investigation. And it is, so the White House, or I guess some folks in the White House, have kind of seen a Cliff's Notes version of it.
Okay.
And President Trump came out and said, "Lion James Comey," and I'm paraphrasing here, basically has some splaining to do over some things. There's a couple big things that are pending.
The people that are going to be looking for.
Oh, I'm sorry. And the third thing, and I want to get your reaction on all of it. The third thing is the fucking spy in the Russian campaign, or in the Trump campaign.
Right, the spy who loved me.
Yeah, apparently a spy, an informant. And so was that
There's so much stuff
was that
just about him?
And yeah, so is that being run by the White House under Obama? I mean, those are three pretty large things in and of themselves. But you take the three of those things together, and how is the country lost its mind over Richard Nixon and a couple missing minutes of tape?
Yes.
And granted, a burglary. He was dirty.
Yeah, and actual felony, an actual crime. At
absolutely.
The Watergate condos.
Correct, which he knew about. Absolutely. Impeach his ass, right? Yep. He resigned. Absolutely. How is nobody losing their mind over the deep state issue here and the ramifications involved in that? Imagine the ramifications that a federal law enforcement agency or the federal government in general or a political arm of the whatever it is, had the audacity, not of hope, had the audacity to spy, to infiltrate an opposition's campaign, an opposition's party campaign. That is huge. And then to have FBI officials working to undermine the president-elect the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and the Inspector General's report coming out about the whole handling of the Clinton email thing. How is nobody losing their mind over this? How is the media not doing their job? This is what pisses me off the most. How is it you don't have journalists out there calling this for? What if this was a Republican administration that had done this? Or what if this were Barack Obama who was under attack?
This would be atomic.
And
absolutely atomic.
And rightfully so. So why is it not the opposite, the other way around right now?
The obvious answer is that both you and I know the answer.
Yes, we do.
But having known the answer immediately speaks to an even greater problem, which is leftists, Democrats, and what I term the American media maggots have gone so far afield that, like the NFL, can we pull them back? Is it possible to get truth back into media?
I don't think we can.
I'm not sure.
I don't think we can.
I'm oh my God, that I have to question whether or not the media is going to lie to me continuously just because they are that far agendized?
Yes.
And the answer is they are that far agendized.
They are.
Now, just like when you and I say damning things about the FBI, and there's a lot of space to say damning things about the FBI, and then the thing that particularly angers me about the FBI is this now. I used to want to give them...
You defended them.
Some understanding. I worked for the FBI, so I wanted to give them some understanding. I still talk to some of the agents. But just as I excoriated, say, Berkeley PD for its sergeants not doing the right thing when they were told to stand down and they were fully cognizant of the fact that 1 block away, citizens that they were paid to protect are getting injured purposely in a political atmosphere. And you didn't have what I called that one good sergeant who looked at that and said, fuck it. Troops, I'm going in. I expect you to back me up. We got paid to do a job. Let's do it. And I excoriated Berkeley PD, the city of Berkeley PD for that, UCD, Berkeley, all the officers, the supervisors, and, of course, the chiefs and the mayor of Berkeley. As well they should be. I took them to task. And then I have to revamp my thoughts about the FBI is this. Now I'm hearing FBI agents, depending on where you look, there was an article in Time that came out about agents at the FBI whining about, oh, everyone's picking on us, Trump is picking on us, everybody's put us on Front Street, and nobody likes us anymore, and we feel so put upon. Shut the fuck up. What you should have been doing and what you should be doing now is whistleblowers. if you need to, come out and step up for the United States of America, because it's going down the fucking tube right in front of your face, and you have the ability to stop it. Not one person, 2, 10, 20, 100 of you get together with your SSA. That's a supervisory special agent. That's like a sergeant in a lot of other departments. Get together and say, we're not taking this anymore. This stuff has to stop. It's corrupting the FBI. We're supposed to be the premier law enforcement agency in the United States. Fucking act like it. And I know your opinion about the FBI, but a lot of these guys have a lot of pride, and I understand it, because they truly believe that they are the premier law enforcement agency in the United States, and in their mind that means the world. Okay, then start to fucking act like it. Act like you have a set of balls or a vagina. Act like you actually have some ethics. Act like your OPR is looking over your shoulder all the time. So many things have been excused under Comey, under Mueller, and it's been exposed now. This is the tip of the iceberg, Clint. This is the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, there is so much crap yet to come.
I agree. I agree. And look, you know what? I think the FBI should have a requirement that the people they hire have to do a minimum of 2 years uniform patrol.
I would not object to that in the slightest. It's like, I think sheriff's departments, people don't like to go to sheriff's departments because you have to do some custody work. Well, in custody work, you get to find out that law enforcement is mean and it's evil and it's nasty and it's crappy and creepy, and you get to know all the people that you see in the jails you're going to meet face to face in the street, and they're evil fucktards. And evil exists.
Yes, it does.
And it will game you at every moment that it possibly can. So that's a learning experience that sheriff's departments have that police departments do not.
Yep.
I think you get a better seasoned officer out of something like that. So your thought about the FBI saying that you really ought to do a couple of years on the street, here.
Yep, absolutely. I know we're up against a break, but I want to touch on this. We have a lot, because I just threw a lot at the
shit!
plate
I just skimmed right through it.
Yes, you did. I threw a lot at the wall here, but something fucking amazing happened this week also.
Okay.
And I want to talk about it after the break. Are you ready to cue us up for the break?
I sure am.
All right.
Okay.
Something absolutely amazing.
I want to hear it, because you know what? We're going to be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads radio show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads against tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same sack time, same sack channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Okay, we're back, and it's the final segment here at the Sackheads Against Tyranny show. Myself, BZ, and Sackheads Clint, we are here for your listening and entertainment pleasure. The final segment, 2 hours went by again, boom, like that. Zippy, quite zippy. And it was really zippy for you, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, very, very, very much so. I don't know why it
just one of those things. Now, you said that you had something really interesting to talk about, and I really want to hear it. Okay, let's see. What was that? Because
what do you think it could be?
Nothing really happened this week.
What do you think
very
it could
much?
be? President Trump did something that that numerous presidents, so from every president from Bill Clinton up to President Trump has said they wanted to do. Congress has passed a law about it, both houses, but no president has had the balls. Up until President Donald J. Trump.
I know.
To do what he did.
I know.
And this week.
Do it start with J?
Yes, it does.
Oh, hey. It's good to hear. So let's hear about it, man.
In Jerusalem, the official capital of Israel,
woohoo!
The United States opened up its embassy. That's a huge deal.
Massive.
That is a huge deal. President Bill Clinton said he was going to do it. President George W. Bush did not. President Barack Obama did not.
No way in the hell was he going to.
President Donald Trump did.
Yep.
From, I think, 1995 is when the first promise to do so was made, and our friendship with Israel affirmed and all this other stuff, where Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and the United States did it. Did the media celebrate? Did the media give President Donald Trump any kind of credit for this feat?
No, in fact, it was the exact opposite, to the point now where I really do. I honestly have to say that I read a book by Michael Savage, and Savage has a great message, but I think he's one of the worst messengers alive. But he wrote a book that had the title of something similar to Leftism is a Mental Disease. And more than ever, I'm beginning to move myself into that column because I don't think I have any. I'm left with so few options other than to begin to make that conclusion. And here's why. I have to tell you why. John Brennan, the former CIA director, and by the way, you may or may not know, John Brennan was a communist.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware? I'm going to go into this in the show tomorrow night. He was a communist and yet was admitted into the CIA. John Brennan consistently has been bleating about how terrible Donald John Trump is, along with Clapper and Comey, etc. But John Brennan specifically, and I didn't think he was going to be the person to do this. I knew someone on the left was going to say this and do this, but apparently it took John Brennan to do it. What he said was that the 52 bodies of the people killed on Gaza in terms of the protests and the various riots because the embassy opened in Jerusalem, those dead bodies should be laid at the feet of Donald John Trump. That's insane.
Of course it is.
That's just insane. I don't know any other reason. And the first things that pop into my head when I think of Clapper, Comey, Brennan are... a Shakespeare line came into my brain. Methinks thou doth protest too much because you, gentlemen, and many others are soon to be hoisted onto the petard of your own creation, and you fucking know it.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It kills me that to have an accomplishment like that and then just to have it shit on. If Bill Clinton had done this, it'd be fantastic. They'd be applauding him.
Oh,
if Barack Obama had done this,
Nobel Peace Prize for
yes,
Billy.
Yes, same
Guaranteed.
with Barack Obama.
Yep.
Maybe even George W. Bush.
Perhaps.
Maybe, right? They would have given him some credit, maybe. But Donald Trump, absolutely not. And another thing Donald Trump did.
This illustrates fear.
And yes, because another thing
fear.
He did a second thing this week also. He is in the process of almost closing the deal with China to reduce or eliminate the trade deficit between the U.S. and China.
Oh, damn. Now that you said that, a story just came out about the trade imbalance. Let me see if I can conjure that bad boy up.
Conjure it.
Damn, now I got to remember where I saw it.
Like a great magician.
Oh, son of a biscuit eater.
I see you. I see you conjuring.
I'm trying... Oh, I know. I'm not going to be able to find it. But anyway, they were talking about tariffs on China.
Yeah.
And sometimes all of this is absolutely brain glazing. And like I say, it borders on insanity. And to your point, that had any other individual been as successful in the series of accomplishments that Donald Trump has, he would have been heralded and occasionally heralded by some of the people on the left.
Yes.
But the left is not there these days.
And
they are into the land. They really are into the land of insanity.
No, of course they are. Because look, a United States president came out on Saturday and said, we have a tentative agreement to reduce the trade deficit between China and the United States. What that means is a more robust economy for us. What that means is more money for growth, more money for our nation, more jobs for our people. And nobody has said, well, I can't say nobody. I'm sure there are some, and I haven't watched Hannity or any of those guys who have given him credit for this as we are. But nobody in mainstream media is coming out and saying, oh my gosh, the President of the United States has reduced or eliminated the trade deficit with China, we're up for good times. This president has the lowest unemployment rate against for the minority community,
which no one talks about,
in 40 years.
Which no one talks
about. His approval rating in the African American community is up 10%. It's up from like 11 to 22 or something like that. See, there are enough jobs right now for every able-bodied American who wants one to have one. Oh. Did you see that report that came out?
Are you going to go where I think you're going to go?
No, go ahead. You go. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to try to find this one. I'll tell you what. While I'm looking for this one, because you're talking about jobs, let me also insert this. The WTO began in, I think, 2000 or 2001. And one of the things that at the time ex-President Clinton was saying is that I know it's the CP face. Okay, one of the things he was saying is that we're going to keep all these jobs. We lost one statistic that I heard was that following the integration of the WTO, the World Trade Organization, the United States lost 60,000 factories. And where we used to be a manufacturing powerhouse, those jobs went away. They went overseas.
To China.
To mostly China.
And to Mexico.
And to India, etc., which doesn't even bring into question the thing about the H-1B visas that people are coming in now in business. See, that's the thing with business that is so corrupt, and the thing about the Republicans that is so corrupt. They won't even do the common sense. God, I got on another sidetrack, which is
focus.
They won't even go for E-Verify, which tells me that they're every bit as corrupt as the Democrats in terms of illegals. You want to stop this from happening? Mandate every business go through E-Verify, and if they don't pass E-Verify, you don't hire them. You could stop that here. You wouldn't even need to build a wall, except for the refugee issue from Central America and South America, because that's a powder keg sitting on our fucking border. Anyway, okay, let me see if I can find this, because this was so damn funny. Son of a biscuit eater. I thought it was in the Drudge
Do you think
report.
President Trump is ever going to get the credit he deserves?
No.
Or is he going to get the credit he deserves 20 years from now?
It will have to be that fun.
Look right now. Some people are saying
30 years, but
some people are saying
down the road. Yeah,
right down the road. Right. It's like President Bush W. People fucking hated him when he left office, and now well maybe it's not so bad. Do you think that look, we are less than 2 years into this president's term. If this president gets 8 years, can you imagine what he can accomplish?
Okay, I found the article, but yes, it's astounding, and the rumors are surfacing again. You know, you remember.
He's accomplished more in his first year and a half.
Neil Gorsuch has already been a benefit to the conservative side. He went a Neil Gorsuch way when you thought he was going to go conservative. Okay, that's to be expected. But again, the rumors are flying rampant about D.C., Anthony Kennedy, sometime this summer. And it's not really the middle of summer yet, so...
Stand by for a fight, especially if the Dems win.
Especially
yes.
The blood. Okay, I found the article.
Okay.
And you were talking about employment, and people can have a job if they want to have a job. This is from BBC News. I love the headline. This just came out. But this bespeaks volumes about what has happened not just to males today in our society, but also to millennials in our society. The headline is, New York parents win legal battle to evict son.
Yes! 30 years old!
30-year-old son. And so I wish I had the thing up. Tucker Carlson spoke to what he calls his leftist or liberal Sherpa, some chick that spent 5 minutes telling him why that's a bad thing. A New York couple won their legal battle to evict their 30-year-old son from home after he refused to leave. During a hearing at the state's highest court in Syracuse, a judge praised Michael Rotondo's legal research, but ordered him to leave the house anyway. Justice Donald Greenwood told the son his bid to remain in his parents' home another 6 months was outrageous.
It is.
It is absolutely outrageous. Rotondo represented himself, said it was the eviction notice that was outrageous. I just don't see why they can't, wait a little bit for me to leave the house. Seems to me they've been waiting, 19 years for you to leave the house, I would guess. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 9 years for you to leave the house, because at 21, you should be on your feet. And it's certainly not for lack of availability for jobs.
No.
Would it be?
No, absolutely not. What I want to know is, why didn't the dad grab that little bastard by the back of his fucking hair and drag his ass out of the house?
Oh, yeah.
My dad would have done that to me.
Oh, hell yeah. But again, okay.
My dad wouldn't let me live in the house till I was 30 years old.
No. Hell no. Not just, that's
yeah, if I wasn't in school or my ass was out. Period. Once I'm done, I'm done.
Further, why would anyone with even a shred of responsibility, why would you want to stay in mommy and daddy's house?
You just said it. He does not have a shred of responsibility. And I read an article about that guy too, who said that he applied as a poor person for court for some custody battle or whatever. And when his mom and dad wanted to give him money, he refused it because he would lose his status as a poor person.
Yes. So this is another pussified piece of shit, male shit, who's been kicked in the balls so many times that, as far as he's concerned, he probably thinks he has a vagina. The corollary to that is the parents are almost equally responsible because they took a little lizard. A friend of mine that have known for quite some time, want to say this quite frequently, is the parents took a little lizard and petted it and groomed it and fed it, and then they were shocked, damn you, when it turned into a fucking dragon. They created that bum, and it took them for him to reach the age of 30 before even they had enough of him. If that's not tolerance, I don't know what is, but his parents are enablers. They brought him there. They got him there. Make no mistake. They created that fucking dragon to the point where they had gotten so probably up against the wall, because he's certainly not going to leave on his own accord.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we got to take him to court. And then he's shocked when the judge rules against him.
Does the guy never leave the house? Change the fucking locks.
This is a guy that probably does live in the basement. This is the guy that probably does wear his jammies. This is the guy whose jammies probably have little feeties and the flap in the back.
But he says he goes and gets his own food. He obviously leaves the house. Change the fucking locks. When he comes back in, tell him, no, your shit is on the front lawn. It's not here. But I rented you an apartment. I paid first and last month. I moved your shit in. Here is your key. Go get your shit. My locks are changed. If you come in, I'm calling the police.
He's been living the good life for 30 years off of the teat of his mom and dad, and he's upset. And this response is perfect. After Tuesday's hearing, Mr. Rotondo summoned news cameras into a hallway for an impromptu press conference. He told reporters he would appeal against the ruling and that, hey, he'd planned to move out of the home in Camillus, New York within 3 months anyway. So, hey, why take him to court? And he loved his mother. I really didn't hear anything said about his father. And he said now his relationship with his parents has grown very strained, with the three of them never speaking or interacting inside the home. Another reason to get the hell out.
Yeah.
Dude.
Shouldn't have been an asshole.
But again, another in a series of continuing examples of the pussification of America, the removal of testosterone from males, and the continuing of leftists, and this again is attributed, and I lay it directly at the feet of leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots. They have no concept of how life really works.
You know, given how some of these primaries have gone nationwide, I don't even know if I can necessarily say Democrats or Demorats. It is progressives. Look at how.
Right. Okay, I generally kind of quantify that into my term of leftists.
You can't anymore, though. If you look at kind of what's happening in the Democratic Party right now, there is a major movement to turn hard left. There is a big socialist, Marxist, I dare say communist wing, and the mainstream Democrats are losing. You're more I don't want to say conservative, but you're more traditional Democrats are losing. And here's my prediction: you have the Democratic Party turning hard left in terms of who they're putting up, and I think you're going to see some of these moderate Democrats either split off and form another party, which I don't really think is happening, or they're going to turn Republican. You're going to water the Republican Party down a little bit, but look at the phenomenon that is Donald Trump.
It's the perfect storm.
It is the perfect storm.
Perfect storm on so many levels.
It was the perfect storm that got President Trump elected. And it's the perfect storm that is going to keep him in office.
And it's going to be the perfect storm that continuously, bit by bit, despite the objections and the interference by the FBI, the DOJ, all the rest of the alphabet agencies who are making such objections to this, redacting so much material and obstructing so much because they know their shit, just like you said, is going to get laid on the front yard real soon.
People need to go to prison.
Oh, definitely.
People in the FBI need to go to prison.
This is a coup against the United States of America. You know, take away Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, and insert a Democrat. Now what would people think in the United States if the roles were reversed and the Republicans were pulling a fraction of the shit that leftists, Democrats, in league with the American media maggots have been doing now, literally for years, since 2016? It's the soft coup against a president-elect, a presidential candidate, and now a sitting president. And none of those three segments that I just mentioned would put up with any of that for a moment were the roles reversed and the Republicans were doing that to them.
Nor should they.
Nor should they.
And if the roles were reversed, we would be calling out the Republicans for doing the same thing.
Yes, because
it's illegal.
It's America. We're a country of laws. We live under the rule of law.
We used to be.
We
used to be. We're not anymore, BZ.
No.
We're not. America is the rule of law is whatever somebody feels like it is, or however somebody wants to try and how they feel like they want to try to apply it. We're not a country of laws. We're certainly in California not a state of laws.
Oh, hell no.
Because people ignore the laws all the time and there's no consequences. And if you get charged for something, it's politically motivated most of the time. Look at the protests that are happening in this state and in Sacramento in particular. Do you think anybody's been fucking prosecuted out of those? They knowingly break the law. The cops know they're going to break the law.
I watched a video of downtown Sacramento, and I watched BLM or people like them, I think it was BLM, stop a car, break out a window, and then were flabbergasted that the individual that was in that SUV, because there's video of it, got excited and pumped the gas and then jammed out of there, and they were beside themselves with anger that someone would have the temerity to try to leave and not let them further destroy the automobile.
Yeah.
And who knows what they meant to do with the person inside. run their ass fucking over.
It doesn't matter. They just broke a window. They just broke property.
That's right.
They just broke property.
That's
fucking insane. We're at 10 o'clock, sir.
We are. It's like I say.
I like the soothing music. It just kind of calm us down, bring everything back to center.
Leftists, etc.
Progressives.
They're insane.
And socialist communists.
And we'll talk about the insanity next week.
Yes, we will.
Next Wednesday. 28th, 29th, the 30th. Next Wednesday, the 30th. Next Wednesday. So, folks, come back and partake of the Sackheads Against Tyranny.
I didn't even get to tell you about Disneyland when I saw a bunch of progressive socialists bitch about capitalism, and I thought the irony is hilarious. Do you realize where you are? You're at the epitome of capitalism.
So from Sackheads
That's a
BZ,
true story, by the way.
I believe it. And Sackheads Clint. Folks, thanks for listening, and good night.